Hey there.
Hey, welcome back.
We're back for another episode of When Stars Align.
And this one's going to be a fun one. We're going to go through all of the 12 signs.
And talk about how much we love them, all of the incredible things about them.
Yeah, all the great qualities about each sign, essentially gushing over every sign. But we're also going to take a fat shit on all the signs.
Yeah. Today, I was trying to set that up like so fairy tale-esque and then be like, and we're about to shit on
And we're going to shit all over you. Yeah. So this will be fun for us, at least. Probably really cathartic.
Absolutely. And, we're in the midst of diss track season. So
Mars is in Aries, Venus is in Taurus.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Should we start off with Aries?
Aries loves to be first. So let's go.
Should we start off with what we hate about Aries and then what we love about Aries?
Yes.
Cut first and then we
have
put the bomb
some aftercare.
Yeah. What do we hate about Aries?
So I'm going to be honest with you. The thing that really grinds my gears about Aries is how personal I feel like they take everything. I can't stand being in an unbiased conversation.
Yeah.
And having people with Aries placements be like,
take it personally. Yeah.
Start going on a whole tirade. Like, what do you mean by that? It's like, I said exactly what I meant. I'm a Virgo. Like, I am saying exactly what I mean. There's no underlying context to what I communicate. And this, like, me personalization portion is, again, with somebody with an Aries 12th house, like,
yeah, I could get that. I can see that.
You guys were karmically born to rub me the wrong way. And I appreciate you for the lessons, but
yeah, I mean, I think for me, yes, it's definitely like the selfishness and like oftentimes just being unable to not put themselves first.
Yes.
I would also say that impatience can just get so annoying. Like,
absolutely.
Relax. Like, it'll happen.
And
we're getting there.
Especially in dating. Like, I know that you're an Aries moon and I forgive you. But I remember being on dating apps like at the beginning of the pandemic. Like everybody was just inside. We were bored.
Yeah.
Let us be bored, and matching with this Aries guy. And he was like, hey, I don't see anything serious happening between us, but do you want to go do mushrooms down on the South California border right near Mexico and maybe go into Mexico together afterwards? And I was like,
are you trying to get me murdered?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I'm confused about where we're headed. And also, you started that off by telling me that there was absolutely nothing serious happening here. Like, no, you don't get my most vulnerable side.
Oh my God. That's audacity.
Him.
Yeah.
And that's the selfish portion.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what part of this makes you think that this would work? This would be something good for me?
There's no value in this equation whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's almost like this is the one thing I can't stand is like, this is my life. Do you fit into it?
Yeah.
Kind of feeling. And I'm like, as an only child, babe, like, I need to be taken into heavy consideration with all things.
I hear that. Yes. Yeah. The rushing things forward, moving too fast, being unable to just like take a breath, slow down, wait things out, see how things go. It's like now or never for Aries. And that can be so frustrating and difficult to deal with.
Especially if you are somebody that likes the languid pace or you like almost like the love making without it even needing to be a sexual thing, like just making presentness a thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't understand why we would do that.
It's like Aries can be very present and in the moment, but there's always looking for that spark of, again, the chasing the novelty, like looking for the next thing. And then they burn out.
Yes.
And then they become big babies.
Big babies. And they're like, well, nurture me now.
Yes.
Take care of me now. And it's like, yeah. And I'm like, you did this to yourself.
Yeah.
And you're never going to learn your lesson if I don't make you sit and suffer with it. So
you're such a Virgo.
I'm over it.
Do we have anything else to shit on Aries about?
Let me take a second with this.
I mean, sometimes it's just so like, aggro.
Let me pause.
I'm like thinking about myself and like my like instinctual reactions literally just feel like, you know, when you turn like those electric fireplaces and it's just like boom,
immediate
like, on. Like I feel that in my soul so often, and I feel like you can feel that from an Aries or Aries placement sometimes when they just like the heat is on and it's on so fast and you're like, whoa.
It's jarring.
Yeah.
Even like people that I haven't dated, like friends or like friends of friends who have Aries placements. And I'm always just like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And my capacity doesn't dictate whether or not you're a good or bad person, but I'm just like, time and place.
Time and place.
Like, know how to dose your fire.
Mm-hmm.
And as the baby of the zodiac and the first fire sign, I don't think that they have the same tact as like Leo and Sagittarius do in slowing it down and knowing the time and place for their fire.
Yes, time and place. Exactly. That's a big part of it. It's like when you're ruled by Mars, especially the diurnal expression of Mars, the fire expression of Mars in Aries, it's like you're wielding a pretty powerful weapon.
Totally.
And you have to know how to use it. It's like walking around with a flamethrower with your trigger with your finger on the trigger. It's like, you know how, you have to have the self-discipline and the knowing yourself enough, knowing your triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not all bad.
There's some things there's a lot we love about Aries.
I'm like feeling like we have to get into the mode of going hard. Like, so
I'm wearing a Mars talisman right now, so to try to help because we're so Venusian. And
I know. Like in here in all white, like you're like, we're gonna take a big fat shit on you. I'm like,
even saying that was so hard.
Not on my meticulous white.
No, but I mean, as an Aries moon, I fucking love Aries.
Yeah.
Like I really do. I would say just how unapologetically themselves and how unapologetically they are able to take up space is something that we can all learn a lot from Aries. Yeah, just watching them be like bitchy and bold. I love it.
Yes. One of my favorite Aries, like the person that sticks out the most to me, she's actually a mother of a friend that I had growing up. But she and I got really close when I got into yoga because she was a yoga instructor. Okay. And she's the type that like, she'll just fuck off and go down to Mexico for like a women's retreat or like teaches the most juicy, incredible yoga classes where it's like, take up space. Like, doesn't matter if your foot touches your partner's mat or even your partner's face, or like she's gotten into the mode of like her red lipstick era. And I'm just you are everything.
Yes.
Like, not only like a woman taking up space, but like that Aries fire and aligning so heavily with like, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Like, this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I think about Aries as very like motivational energy, motivational coach energy. And they just are so supportive.
Yes.
They are there to light that fire, to like strike that match and get things started and get you started, initiators, you know?
Yes.
And so having an Aries in your corner, it's like you're not allowed to give up. They won't let you give up.
Absolutely not. I mean, a cardinal fire sign, I'm like, all they want to do is pioneer and be good leaders and bring everybody along with them for the ride. So it's like we talk about them being selfish, but it's like deep down, they see the benefit of the betterment for all.
Yeah. And I think that more people need to be selfish. Coming from an Aries moon, I think that a lot of people need to learn how to be selfish. And that selfish isn't a bad thing. You need to learn how know thyself. I think that's a big thing that Aries is able to do better than a lot of people.
Completely. And if it's hard for you to swallow the word selfishness, I feel like what they do and what they help everybody do is just self-prioritize. Like, understand that nobody benefits when your cup is empty, and let their energy be the guiding force for you to understand. Like, when you're full, you have the capacity to fill so many other people on the way.
Exactly. And last, I'll just say, like, again, having an Aries like on your team, the biggest defenders, like they will have your back, dude.
Yep. Warlords.
Yes. Like if you want someone to ride for you, if you need someone to fuck someone up for you, like you best call your Aries girlfriends too, or they thems.
Yes.
They will fuck someone up for you. Like no questions asked.
They'll throw a punch.
Yeah.
Or 10.
They'll do what needs to be done.
Whatever it takes.
One of my besties is an Aries. Shout out to you, Teddy. My love. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, we have each other's back, you know? It's always, they're like one of the first people I'll call when some bullshit happens. Just to vent, because I know they'll feel my fire and match my fire and not try to make anything of it. But just like, again, how water signs need each other to like feel seen, like fire energy needs each other to feel seen too.
Like it can't be looked at as a problem. I think fire energy gets such a bad rep for being destructive, but it's also that same energy that brings things into, forgetting the term that I'm thinking, like it's it's manifested, but it's like it's purifying.
Yes.
You know, like it like gets all of the bullshit out of the way. And it's like, no, don't forget who you are underneath all of these insecurities. Like, let me purify the crap away. It's like the theme of the whole episode is crap and shit. But like purify all of that gunk out so you can finally see yourself clearly again. So let them be selfish and self-prioritized, because they will come and fill your cup just as quick.
And they're expecting you to do the same. I think that's the thing with Aries. It's like, why aren't you being selfish too? Like, why aren't you prioritizing yourself? Because like I'm prioritizing. You don't have to worry about me.
Yes.
So worry about yourself.
Absolutely. Like they almost get confused when you don't have boundaries or you don't speak up for yourself, because they're like, this is not my job.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, love you, Aries. Okay, let's shut on some Tauruses. I've had my heart broken by a couple Tauruses this year, so I'm ready to go in.
I feel like I avoided them in the dating scene.
Yeah, I tried to, truly.
Like there is something to me about dating or looking at Tauruses as a romantic prospect that I'm just like, that is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
And it's also not for the type of person that doesn't feel like contributing 100 times more to the relationship and getting half of the credit. Like,
yeah. Well, okay. Here's what I'll say about Tauruses. I'm the reason I get afraid of dating Tauruses is because I'm like, I'm going to be bored.
Ooh.
I'm going to get bored. Like, I feel like I'm afraid of getting trapped. I'm afraid of like getting caught into some like possessive, I can't leave, you can't leave because X, Y, and Z, we put in time, energy, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I try to avoid them because we're not getting to love them so much. But I am very compatible with Tauruses.
Yeah.
And so if it scares me to like, it just feels like you can't date a Taurus casually.
Absolutely not. And I feel like they are the types too that they could be run through the mud by their partner, like cheated on, lied to, disrespected, and they're still like,
I'm gonna stick beside them.
Exactly. That's my ride or die mentality. And I'm just like, babe, you need to stand up. Like you need to get yourself off of the floor right now, because the things that I have seen Tauruses put up with in their relationships and still speak so highly of their partners.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the blinders are fully on.
Yeah. It's like, I've invested time and energy into this, and therefore it has to work out. And that's where the stubbornness comes in.
Yes.
Yeah, it just, again, in like the boring, it just can be like, sex can get kind of monotonous. Things can just, Tauruses are good with simplicity.
Absolutely.
And not all of us. Yeah, I think a lot of us need a lot more novelty.
Totally.
Than what a Taurus can often provide. But yeah, I don't know. Just that, I think just the fact that they're so hard to move, if they aren't ready to make a change, then they will drag their feet, and that just irks the fuck out of me.
Have you also picked up on the self-grandiosity with Tauruses? Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's from being Venus ruled, being a fixed sign, being an earth sign. Like, there's just so many ingredients that got thrown into the pot of a Taurus that makes them think that they could do the absolute bare minimum. Like, oh, I read this certain author, or I watch this certain type of media, or I went to this place one time, and now it's this like holier than thou internalized God complex. And it's like, ego.
Yeah.
Needs to get checked.
Definitely. And then once they do like cut something out, it's like so forever. And like Scorpios get that rep of like burning bridges, but Taurus does it way more.
They're like the covert narcissists of the zodiac. I'm convinced at this point, because I'm like, it's the ego of a Leo.
Yes.
It's the grudge holding of a Scorpio. Yes. They have such a way of putting themselves outside the line of fire that is accountability. That it's like, how dare you say that thing about me? Or and the grudge holding, it's just like, get a hobby, like get a life outside of like seething anger and hatred towards what? The fact that somebody was more interesting than you are? Like,
you're so good. I love Virgos.
I'm tired.
On Virgos in front of you.
Do it. I'll leave the room if you need me to, but I'm ready for it.
Okay. I can't talk any other more. I can't say anything else about Taurus. That's bad.
I'll save it.
Do you want to? Do you have anything else?
Move on.
Because in reality, I fucking love a Taurus.
Absolutely.
Best friends. I just, the most like grounding, soothing, sensual,
comforting.
The Tauruses I dated this year, oh my God, it was just such a pleasure and blessing to be held by them. Just like a hug from a Taurus is healing.
Yes.
That's sometimes better than a doctor's visit.
100%. And again, like the earth angel energy, like I know they all hate being called earth angels, but I'm like, they're so thoughtful in the ways that they show up for the people that they love. So like they, to me, embody the to be loved is to be known. Like Taurus is so thoughtful and calculated with the ways that they show up for the ones that they love, that like they'll know how to hug you. Like it's not even just like a good hug. It's like, I know that you like it when I come over from the side and I'm playing with your hair at the same time doing this thing. Like, it's nurturing.
Can I start crying?
No. You said the Tauruses broke your heart, and I'm like, you can't break somebody's heart if you don't give them your heart first.
I mean, really, really just like reliable, trustworthy, honest, good people.
Yeah.
Just like good people.
Yeah.
I love a Taurus.
And it really does come back to the sensuality of a Taurus. Like all five senses being heightened. Like if you've ever gone to just have a one-on-one with a Taurus or somebody with heavy Taurus placements, It's like they have the candles going. They have fresh bread in the oven. They've got
fresh fruit cut up. Yeah.
New hand soap in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like it's all of these little details to just make every inch of your experience with them feel heightened.
Yes.
And sensual.
And so good with their hands. Oh my God. And their mouths. I mean, Taurus does roll the mouth. Yeah.
Oh, like
mouth in the throat. Exactly. And yeah, I just find they're very like artistic and like craftful, I guess.
Yes.
And so, yeah, they tend to be really good with their hands, like making things with their hands, touching, massaging. I feel like all Taurus men are like, yeah, I'm like a semi-professional masseuse.
Especially the foot rubs. I'm such a sucker for getting my feet rubbed.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
a Taurus's hands on your feet.
Also, like people with Venus and Taurus. Yeah.
Have you had bedridden experiences?
Girl.
Oh. I love it.
I mean, because I have Mars and Scorpio. And so
oh my God.
When people have Venus and Taurus,
opposition,
and
Venus,
then also Mars and Aries opposes my Venus and Libra. And so I've been with people who have like those domiciles opposite my domiciles. And it's some of the best I've ever had for sure up there. It's like, yeah. I mean, back to Taurus. Okay.
Back to reality. I'm like,
maybe we should. I'm like, is there anything else to say? They'll cook for you.
Yeah.
They'll make you feel good. They'll leave you smile and love drunk.
And also, I feel like an acceptance of you without you needing to put on a front. Like I've never met a Taurus that was shy about letting you come over when you were totally disheveled or like having a pajama party.
Fart in front of them. They don't give a shit.
If anything, they'll love you more for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you're cozy with me. Yay.
You're in rest and digest mode.
Literally. Yeah, we love you, Taurus.
We do.
Let's shit on some Geminis. So yeah, we just recorded a whole episode. If you haven't heard it already, I don't know when it's coming out. Is it coming out after this?
Coming out first.
Okay, cool.
Gemini will come out first, so it's already been done.
It's already done. We've talked a lot about you guys, good and bad, but let's go into it again.
Yeah. We'll be succinct about it this time. The thing that I hate about Gemini, first, I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. Oh my God. Kendrick made the like anthem for haters and is a Gemini.
It is Gemini, of course. Yeah.
God, I love it. But I absolutely hate the way that Geminis will portray one thing to you to hook you in and fully switch up the minute that you get close and comfortable with them. I can't stand it.
It's so true. It's, flashbacks, memories. I think that their inability to just like go to the deep.
Yes.
Go into the deep with you. And like, I think even if they are empathetic and sweet, if you cry in front of a Gemini, you feel like something's wrong.
You're being judged.
Yeah.
You are fully being judged for having... Yeah.
It's like, that's how you feel like they're feeling like, oh, what do I do?
Mr. Roboto takes over.
Where's the tissue?
And it's just, I feel like it's an insecurity. Like I've never met a Gemini who didn't put on this big front of like having their shit together and like doing a really good job at work or like wooing everybody at a table. Like if you're at a dinner party, but then you take them home and they've had a little bit too much to drink and they're like crying about how their mom never loved them or like how like their feet are too small or like something that just sits with them and is like a driving force for all of the chaos that they bring. It's like, because I have this inner wound and this insecurity, everybody else needs to pay for it.
Yes, I can see that. The switch up will always get me. I mean, it's hurt a lot of people. It's hurt a lot of people out there.
If you have been a victim of a Gemini, please call.
Please call the anti-Gemini law firm. No, I mean, Gemini's already known for being the most hated of the zodiac, or one of the most hated. And yeah, people think they're little evil gremlins.
I think because they have that difficulty getting into their heart and their emotions, that it causes confusion for the people that they're connecting with and people that they're communicating with, because part of the story is always missing.
Well said. And also, like, focus on one thing for like more than 2 minutes. Can you try? I don't know. I feel like I feel like that can be really annoying too. It's like, wait, so yesterday you were sure you were going to move to New York, and now you're sure you're going to move to San Francisco? Like, what? I Can you make up your mind ever? Yeah, that will grind my gears quite a bit.
And it's like, you already know how I feel. Like, you told me I was the love of your life, and now you're screwing my friend.
Yeah.
So that's a little wild.
Exactly. And then they come to you like, what, like, don't you have the answers? It's like, boy, bye.
It's the insecurity thing.
Yeah. In reality, we do fucking love Geminis, though. I mean, at least I do.
There's a reason that we get involved with them. Like, oh man, I have never met human beings that were so intriguing.
Yeah.
Like, just had so much of a multifaceted way of being. Like, the types of people that will work as an accountant, but they also like go to drag brunch every weekend, or like, there's just this part of them that's so unexpected. And it's always things that make you be like, I love you so much more for this. Like, it's never a deterrent to who you already thought they were. It's always like, oh, this is exactly why I was drawn to you in the first place, because you're interesting.
That's a great point. I feel like, yeah, they are so multifaceted and curious, and like it makes you curious about them. I mean, I think of them as like the magician card.
Yes.
Little Mercury, little Hermes, like running around, always busy, always has something new to talk about. Yeah, they're just so goofy and fun. I think that's probably why I love them so much. They're not afraid to be goofy and silly, and yeah, it just brings out my inner like silly, goofy child.
Absolutely. Like, the laughter that happens with the Gemini, and also like the youthfulness that comes with them too. Like, Aries also has that very youthful energy that kind of rubs off on you. But with a Gemini, it feels like the best banter back and forth, like the riff between two people where you're just like in stitches. Like, it's an incredible skill that they have, communicating, laughing, joking.
And listening to a Gemini who's like really good orator, who just like can communicate and can speak so well, is like such a privilege, I feel like. They just have this masterful way of transmitting knowledge and information, and I feel like we can learn a lot from them.
Totally. I feel like most of my favorite musicians have Gemini placements.
Yeah, for sure.
So, unfortunately, it's time for us to shit on the crybabies of the zodiac.
I don't really have a problem shitting on Cancer.
Good. You start. I'm going to finish this one off strong.
Where do I start?
The list is so long.
Yeah, I think that it's like the clinginess. I think that's where I'll start. I feel like as soon as a Cancer like decides that you're their person, you don't really have a say in it
At all.
And then they get offended when you aren't reciprocating that same energy. And it's like, it was never that deep to begin with. Like,
well, and it also plays a part in the fact that it's because they're mimicking your entire personality. Like, Gemini gets so much flack for being two-faced. And I'm like, Cancers don't even know who they are without somebody that they're siphoning a whole ass personality off of.
I mean, the moon doesn't emit any light. It is all reflected.
Yeah.
I think the projection is a big part of that too, right?
Like, the defensiveness that comes with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like literally look in the mirror. Like literally record yourself and listen to yourself talk right now. Like, and listen to it back a couple times before you come back to me with that shit.
But they have such a way of evading the accountability. Like they will suck you in, suck you dry.
Yeah.
Not in a good way. And then fully throw you out on the sidewalk when you haven't gotten on with that or you don't approve with how they're shape shifting. But then kind of crawl back and be like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know
it's
why.
Always a sob story. It's always like emotional manipulation.
Yes.
And it's like, get a grip.
Truly. Like absolutely no feet in reality. It's like off in the ethers. And I think trying to convince others so much that they're good people, they start to get wrapped up in their own lie-filled story of being just good people with no flaws.
Yeah.
You lose sight of reality when you deal with them for too long when they're not healed.
And then they either are doing too much to take care of somebody else that doesn't want to be taken care of.
Codependent.
Or shouldn't be taken care of by them. Or expecting everybody else to take care of them. It's like, are you baby or not? And if you are, I don't really want the responsibility.
Right. Like I'm not a parent at this point in my life for a reason. Like I didn't sign up for this.
Yes. And it's like this expectation of like emotional expectation of others to like give as much as they give or as they perceive themselves giving.
But a rage when it's not met.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm just like
tantrums.
Too much. Too much tantruming. Like
can I just shit on this one Cancer I used to work with?
Please.
This bitch. I think she was just racist, honestly. But she would get annoyed by the fact that I wasn't like, when I got way more busy at work and had more responsibilities, Kirah's not saying hi to me anymore. Kirah's not coming to talk to me anymore. Bitch, aren't you working? She's like way above me. And then she complained about me getting a promotion. She complained about me getting a promotion because another girl who had been there for like longer than me also got I got the same promotion as her. So like apparently I should have had to wait longer to get that promotion. And then she tried to stop me from getting a job by because the person who was recruiting used to work with us at the agency. And so she found out that I was interviewing for this job, told him I was a drug addict.
No.
Yes. Told him I was a drug addict.
The literal manipulation. Like it's like they have no boundary to how far they will go in their lives once they believe something.
Yes, exactly.
Or once they see the power in
the drug in question, cannabis. The state in question where I would have been working, California. And how many times have I smoked this bitch out?
That's nasty behavior.
Literally.
I think she had a crush on you.
I think she was just extremely jealous. She was just jealous and miserable. And like had nothing else to do with her life.
But this is where I feel like a lot of them fall into, I'm not going to have a hobby. I'm just going to get completely wrapped up in
other people's lives,
trauma, other people's lives. It's like I dated one Cancer who we had an on and off thing while I had my on and off thing with my Gemini. And he never wanted to commit. Like we both knew it was not a committal thing, but would like, bring me lattes in bed in the morning. And
do all the boyfriend things.
Do all of the boyfriend things. And just fully when I would come back, like when we would mutually agree, like, yeah, we should get back in and do this again, would berate me to the nines and be like, you're unhealed, you're not mature, you lie all the time. And I'm like, projection, exactly. Yeah. And like,
ooh. Do you guys hear that? We haven't eaten lunch yet.
You're always like, I'm hungry for more. Like, you're talking about it.
Talking about the Cancer, stomach's rumbling. I guess mine had something to say.
Oh, man.
It's, and again, the clinginess, like, leave me alone.
Right. Like
I don't belong to you.
They want you in their little crab pincers.
Yeah.
Just to make you
in their den.
Yeah.
Keep you for themselves.
Make you as miserable as they are.
Yeah. Look at what I have. Okay, let's not talk shit anymore about cancers.
What we love about cancers.
I do love how much cancers just want to feed you. Cancers,
Quite literally.
they just want to stuff you up.
In all ways.
Always. They are nourishers, nourishing.
They just want to give. The ends of which they pour into you are so endless.
Yeah.
And when you are dealing with a healed, level-headed Cancer, it's like all they want to do is get better for you. They want to be better for you. It's like the willingness that comes from a Cancer that has pure intentions with you in your heart.
They can be really devoted.
Truly.
And just like they are caring, they are caretakers, and so they will create an environment that is soft and sensual and sweet for you. They'll make sure you have all that. Yeah, they have all your favorite snacks.
Yes.
They will make sure you ate that day. They'll make sure you're hydrated. Like
they'll make sure that you finish the way that you want to.
And let me just say, Cancer placements, sex with Cancer placements gets wet. Like wet. God. It's just mouth, like everything. They kiss wet. They're kind of sloppy kissers.
You're talking to a Cancer Mars. Like I have definitely swapped very intentional spit with my lovers.
Yeah, it's very fluid. I can say that. And yeah, I don't know. They'll make you feel totally. They won't stop until you're satisfied.
Absolutely. And it goes back to like when we talk about Cancer being ruled by the moon, and when you think about your moon sign, like we talked about that on the first episode, it's like that is the deepest, darkest part of your heart. That is how you feel safe. And if there's any sign that will go to the ends of the earth to make sure that you feel safe, it's somebody with Cancer placements.
I would also say my absolute favorite thing about Cancer and Cancer placements is how easily they can express their emotions, whether it's like they're crying or they're laughing or they're angry. It's like they don't hold back.
Yeah.
And I think as a Scorpio, as someone who has a hard time fully expressing, I really admire that about Cancers.
Totally.
I think it's like inspiring to be like, yeah, you can feel all of that and fully process it. I think that's what Cancers are really good at.
Yeah.
Like they're able to process all that stuff and then move on. I think it's admirable to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah. And they look like the moon.
That was quite literally how I found my latest partner. I have said this over and over again. I'll stand by it. I don't typically like to put out that I am a professional astrologer because I don't want it to be abused. And this man walks up to me, face round like a full moon. And I went, "You're a Cancer." And he was like, "How did you know that?"
You're like, you look, I mean, the last guy I dated, the Taurus, he was a Cancer rising and he super pale. He also has alopecia. So literally no hair on his body, bright blue eyes, super round face. And I was like, there's no way in hell you don't have Cancer placements because he literally looks like he came from the moon. Like the moon spit out a baby and it was him.
I feel like that was probably also really healing for him because so much of that gets turned into like almost like the ugly duckling. But then at the end, you find out that it's a swan. Like you look like the luminary.
I mean, he was so soft. Because his dating profile said, it's not Cancer, just alopecia. And my mom has alopecia, like a lot of people in my family, because of the kidney disease we've had, like have alopecia. So it didn't, I don't know, I never thought about it. And I also had known him. He was like in my local coffee shop. So I had seen him and I always had a crush on him. I never really thought about it him not having hair. I was just like,
Right.
he's really cute. I like bald men.
Yeah.
So yeah, he very much was like cancer, like the softest skin, so pale, so sweet. Like, yeah.
I feel like you're describing my dad right now. I'm like, let's move on.
Leo. Another sign that gets talked a lot, like who doesn't have the best reputation, I feel like. Because everyone's always like
The ego thing.
the ego, center of attention.
It's such a low hanging fruit. Like
It
I don't
is.
know that you really know any Leos if you're only talking about that
Right.
or harping on that.
But we can talk about the self-centeredness. I mean, that I think that's a big thing with Leo. It's like this isn't this had nothing to do with you. Like, why are you bringing it back to you?
And they never want to be the bad guy.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like so sensitive. I feel like their Achilles heel is like protruding out, and it's so easy to just poke it and be like, the insecurity is there.
It's the insecurity. I think I'm thinking especially like my cohort of around my age, we all have Chiron and Leo.
Yeah.
And the Leos that I know that have Chiron and Leo, it's like you don't see how like obvious your insecurities are to everyone else
At all.
and it's a little cringy sometimes.
Yes. Like I remember dating a Leo, and we had gone away to this incredible resort, spent at least an hour and a half, 2 hours in bed after waking up. And we go outside later, we're on the property, and he just falls into a puddle. And he's like, did you even like that? Did you like having sex with me this morning? And I'm like, I feel like physically you should have known that I like that. Like there's a lot of indicators.
What's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, even when things are really good, I feel like their insecurity drags them back down to make things about themselves or to make things into an issue when there's really no issue there.
Yeah. I mean, they need drama. They need some sort of drama in their life. So if it's not, they'll create it if it's not presenting itself.
And I feel like it's a subconscious creation a lot of the time. Like I was really close friends with a Leo woman, and it's like every time that I try to open up conversation, it's like 1 or 2 texts and then don't hear from her again. But then it's like,
unless it's about some drama.
Exactly. Drama that she's in, or, something big that she's doing in her career that feels slightly braggadocious. And it's like, I need my people to show up.
Yeah.
And be consistent.
I also feel like Leos have an issue with like feeling like they're God's gift to humanity, It's like, don't fear, I am here.
Yes. And like finding fault in everyone else by proxy of that. Like it's like, because they have such an important view of themselves and think that they are such high value, it's easier for them to be like, oh, I couldn't date somebody like that, or I'm not really interested in this, or I don't go to places like that. It's
like royal, higher than, mightier than thou, or whatever. What is it?
Holier than thou.
Holier than thou. Yeah. Holier and mightier.
Yes.
Yeah, holier than thou.
Up on their high horse.
Yeah, definitely. Diva energy.
Absolutely.
Men and women and non-binary. All of y'all are
people.
Divas.
Truly. Like just thinking that they need the best, they are the best,
deserve the best.
And it's like, I don't like to be the type of person to knock people down a peg. I really don't.
Some Leos need it.
But I couldn't do it long term.
Yeah. Yeah. I always felt like I would have a hard time dating a Leo. I've never dated a Leo, actually. I've only like casually slept with a couple, like not even that. A lot of Leo risings, actually. That's actually, if I made a list of everyone, it would be like number 1 placement is Leo rising.
Wow.
It's a weird thing that I guess was happening to me for a while.
But it hits your Chiron?
Yeah. I think it's because I have like Sag and Aries placement. And so that's like, it fuels my fire. But yeah, it's like, bro, you're not that special. Like you might have like beautiful long hair. You might be hot, but like
that's not all there is to life.
Yeah.
life is about so much more than being hot. I feel like we need to just really put a PSA out there, like,
or being talented, right? It's like
absolutely.
you might be really great at this one thing and you might want to be showing that off, but it's like that can't be your whole thing.
At all. Like, and again, when it goes to putting yourself above other people, I feel like that's where you've kind of like failed the human experiment.
Yeah.
Because I feel like any great spiritual teacher will tell you, like, the minute that you think that you're done growing,
Yeah.
that's the moment where you're the furthest away from your healing and your growth.
Yeah, I think all fire signs have an issue with that. The like seeing God in themselves and then taking it too far.
Yes. Like, godliness lives within all of us, but the God complex doesn't
Yeah.
have to.
Exactly. But there's a lot we love about Leo. I mean,
I'm like, I need to sit back for this one because, oh my God, being loved or loved on
Yeah.
or loved up by a Leo,
it's a really divine experience,
it's like
honestly.
a drug,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we all love to like lay out in the sun.
Yeah.
It's like having a spotlight turned on you and like shining on you. And like it glows you up from the inside out.
Yeah. I grew up in New England and had a lot of family members who have seasonal depression. And I'm like, even in the darkness, they're kind of like a happy light, like those UV lights that genuinely change your mood. Like, it's like walking around with a happy light when you're with a Leo.
I used to always say that like the Leos in our lives are our own little like personal suns, and like we go to them for warmth, we go to them for guidance. They're incredible like leaders. They have this centeredness about them. I mean, their sun is in domicile. Their sun is at home in the place where it shines the brightest,
Yes.
where the days are longest. And it's like it's like being able to go to a sun in human form
Absolutely.
and get that insight and that warmth and that spotlight.
Yeah. And we talked about the sun in our astro compatibility one-on-one episode, but you think about that, like the lens that they look at life through is just clear.
Yeah.
Like, I will say for the female Leos that I've had in my life, I describe their energy as like Mama Gaia.
Yeah.
Like, they are just so wise and so centered when they're in a good place.
Yeah.
And it really is like the sun in that way. Like, if it's positioned correctly, it gives life to everything and everyone else.
Yeah, it enlivens things. It makes it so we see color. And I think that Leos enliven our lives and like make life more colorful and joyous. One of my best friends I grew up with is a Leo stellium. I was telling you, Sun, Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury. And yeah, in the ninth house, which is where the sun rejoices. And she is just, you can't say anything bad about her. Like everyone in her life, everyone that knows her is just gushes about her because she is like a light in all of our lives.
Yes. They're extremely generous too.
Yes.
Like, if you've noticed the way that they are with their material possessions, their time, their energy, it's like they'll cook for you, they'll wrap you up in a blanket, they'll take you on the trip that they're getting to go on themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
give you a motivational talk whenever you need it.
if you're inside of that royal cohort, you're getting all of the same special treatment that they do. Like, they want everyone to eat the feast that they have access to.
Yes. Excuse me. This guy's looking at us. Couldn't help it.
I mean, out in the sun, 6-pack abs out. We're just like,
I bet he was a Leo.
and we're up in our tower.
Also, Leo's the mane, the hair.
You just want to run your hands through it. And it's like, even if they've chosen to be bald or like they're afflicted with something that causes baldness, I feel like there's just this like
aura.
Exactly.
Like what is that? Like a halo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this golden, you can't explain it. It's not even something that you can touch or see, but they just have
a royalty. It's like this, this glow to them. It's really beautiful. And I think Leos like encourage us to be our authentic selves, right? To just like go for it, to be bold, to dress the way we want to dress, to present ourselves the way we want to present ourselves, because they're very much like YOLO types. Like there's only one life to live. And why not be like fabulous?
Yes. I dated a Jewish Leo man. So it was like this double-ended, like, just live your life. Like, don't think about death. Don't think about the other side, another life. It's like
life is for living.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we're going to round out this episode with Virgo and come back to you with the other half of the zodiac. So let's get into Virgo.
I've been waiting for it. Kirah, rip into us. Tell me.
I'm ready. Why do you have to be so critical? Why?
Because we don't feel safe when we're not controlling the narrative.
Apparently. I mean, very much so. I have a lot to say about what I love about Virgos, but I would say the number one issue I have with Virgo is that it's like sometimes just keep those thoughts to yourself. You can just you can write them down in your journal.
Truly.
You don't really need to tell me every single thing about me that you think should be better or could be improved.
Or just everything at all. Like the spiraling, the mental spiraling and subsequent word vomit that comes from their mercurial ruling. It's like, this is so anxiety inducing.
Yes. And you're pouring out your anxiety to me because you don't know how to handle it and process it yourself. I don't want to carry that either. I have my own anxiety to worry about, babe.
Totally.
Yeah. I think just the over analyzing, the micro analyzing, and I'm just thinking about both my parents have a lot of Virgo placements too, and my grandparents. And it's like, the criticism. And I know there's so much self-criticism and it's projected outwards. And I'm like, y'all need to work on that.
Yes. And I always talk about like the preceding zodiac sign as the one that's making up for the one before it. So we're not going to get into Libra this time, but I always describe Libra as like the nervous system of the zodiac. So it's like when you think about that, they're like making up for what Virgo lacks.
Yeah.
And that dysregulated emotional processing system and the way that they're thinking about things and how they're communicating it, it's like if they're not balanced, if they're not like fed, watered, and fucked, if they didn't get a good night's sleep, it's a nightmare. And that's coming from the mouth of a Virgo. I apologize to my closest people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, heavy on fucked, because I feel like an unfucked Virgo is like
nightmare.
Truly.
I
and
can
they don't
tell.
know it until they like get fucked again. They're like, oh, I was being a complete raging cunt the past couple weeks.
Truly. And it's like that, honestly, is an understatement. Like it can get really, really bad when we're not in our body.
Yeah.
So I think like when we're talking about the things that we hate about Virgo, it's so easy for us to get pulled out of our body.
Yeah.
But when we're like in the soma, in the balanced space, so much of these issues are not coming up. But when they are, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Also, like sometimes I think there's like an intellectual like high horse.
Yes. The superiority.
Yes, exactly. Where it's like, Virgo is the well actually of the zodiac. The well actually.
The electricity. Like, let me just come in and like, I don't even need to say much, but I need to have the last laugh.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And again, sometimes it's like, keep it to yourself. Everyone knew what I was saying. You don't have to correct me because I said the word in a weird way. You knew what I was saying. Just relax. Yeah.
You're so valid for that. You're so
okay. Let's gush about Virgos because I love y'all.
We love you too.
Yeah. I mean, truly, it's my 7th house. I'm a Pisces rising. So I have my Virgo 7th house. My chart ruler, Jupiter, is there. So I kind of consider myself a Virgo too. And I just like can't get enough. I don't know. Even when you guys are bitchy and critical, I'm like, that's okay. You have a lot to stress about. Just go get fucked and you'll be nice.
Exactly. Or like, let me be the one to do it.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
Like, for me, like, let me just go take care of myself in the other room really quickly. But honestly, I will say, just from other Virgos that I know, the intentionality is the thing that I feel like I love the most about Virgo placement people.
And they're so considerate, like, because you guys are always thinking about everything. You are thinking about everything, and you do the kind of that work of like, oh no, I brought the extra water. Oh, I have some band-aids. Don't worry about it. Like, I love that about Virgo because I'm so much that way. So I know if I'm with a Virgo, like things aren't going to be forgotten. One of us is going to have it. One of us is going to be able to make it work. And it's that mutable earth of like the grounded, but like able to adapt, able to move and flow. I just love it.
Absolutely. I mean, my big thing is like, we don't really get our flowers for wanting to explore and learn, but being mutable and also being ruled by Mercury, it's like I feel my best. And I notice this in other Virgos. Like Virgo men get a really bad rap, and that has total time and place and a lot of validity. But a healed Virgo man, really just a healed Virgo person, is so of the world.
Yeah.
Like I just love and admire the desire to do better and be better for everybody else's benefit.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Mind, body, and soul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't be Beyonce on a global, like highest ranking global tour known to man and not be a Virgo.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's still just never enough for them. Like,
I mean, let's be honest. If you want something done well and right, you get a Virgo to do it. That's how I feel. It's like I can trust a Virgo to put their all into it and not ever put out something that they wouldn't be proud of.
Totally.
And to have all the, I's, dots, T's crossed, whatever that phrase is.
Well, and when it comes to dating too, you think about like the reservation's going to be made.
I was going to say that. They will plan the date for you happily and like make sure it's a restaurant where, your food preferences are going to be good.
They have the car to pick you up.
Yes.
And it's going to be at your house at exactly the right time before you need to get there.
Yeah.
Dating a Virgo Venus, I think, was the most life-changing thing.
Yeah.
In my dating experience.
I mean, yeah. All Virgo placements. I just can't get enough. So yeah, I'm trying to find a Virgo.
Or somebody with heavy Virgo placements.
Exactly.
I would love to see you with a Virgo Venus.
I don't know about that.
Really?
Because my Venus is in Libra, and I can have a hard time with Venus in Virgo because of I can do Venus a lot easier, and I kind of want someone that can be on that wavelength.
Right.
But the luminaries, sun, moon, and rising in Virgo are like, oh God, I love so much. So yeah, if you're out there, I'm coming for you.
It's available.
We'll find each other. I know. I trust the universe to bring us together.
Listen, a Pisces rising and then a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, like the intuition that is already connecting the two of you.
And one last thing I'll say about Virgos, which we talked a little bit about in our Gemini episode, is the ability to make the mundane magical, to just infuse magic and creativity and joy into like the most mundane everyday things. I think is something we don't talk about enough with Virgo, and something I love a lot about them.
It's like playing the alphabet game on a really long road trip. Like it's just always having something fun in your back pocket. Yeah. And I think part of that is from their discomfort with other people's discomfort. Like we are always on the lookout for how to make other people's experience one where they can be at ease.
Right. Because like nervous system is such a big thing for Virgos. And we're always looking for ways to like settle and soothe our nervous system and other people's, because we get affected by everyone else's. So if you can find a Virgo that has like a chill nervous system and that you don't spike theirs and they don't spike yours, then like you're golden.
And let me know how to get there. Thanks.
We're going to wrap up this episode with that, and we'll come back with Libra through Pisces next time. We don't know when, but stay tuned.
Absolutely. And we promise to make shitting on you not that bad. Or
hopefully the first half of the zodiac are not too, sad, not too bruised up. And hopefully the aftercare works.
And you guys know where to find us. Please be sure to subscribe, rate 5 stars if you liked it, and to submit to our submission link if you would like one of your questions to be answered on a future episode. We would love to handle it.
Yeah, all the links on how to follow us and When Stars Align on socials are in the show notes, as well as the link to submit for the Q&A. So talk to you next time. And have a good one.
Hey. Thanks for tuning in to When Stars Align. You can catch us every Tuesday for new weekly episodes.
Be sure to subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and leave us a review to help more people find us.
If you have questions about your love life that you're interested in us answering on a future episode, be sure to submit them in the link in the show notes.
This podcast was created for Stars Align dating app. Produced by Meghan and Kirah and edited by Chad the Maverick.